Thank you for tuning in to the B&RS Show.
So back in the day, before all of the 3D worlds and downloadable content and all that shit, there was very few games that shook the gaming world, and I believe that Grand Theft Auto, even as a aerial view video game,
top down,
was a beast of a fucking game.
You know what's crazy is looking at what they were trying to make with Grand Theft Auto and just went the complete opposite direction because what they're trying to make sucked. I forgot they said they were trying. It was gonna be like a cops and robbers, like shoot 'em up, but like you could pick sides, and it was based on driving mainly. And they said when they played it and the way it played, it didn't feel like that, and people had more fun being bad, so they transitioned it.
And what came of this just launched
what we
into
know
like
is GTA,
a fucking series of video games that, like, the cult following behind the GTA series is fucking massive, bro.
I mean, I remember the first time reading about Grand Theft Auto and just thinking to myself, I need to play that. Like, I remember reading about it in Game Pro, bro.
And
was it a Game Pro or Electronic Gaming Monthly?
I remember
Game Informer wasn't out yet.
Nah,
Game Informer wasn't out yet.
Shit. So, the first release was October 21st, 1997. I was, this is sixth grade?
I was still in Miss Silver's class.
6th grade. I was in IS 383.
I don't think I played that shit till like 7th grade still. It was just, that was the white whale. Because it was a mature rated game.
That was the whole thing. Everyone was, and they even like gave speeches about this shit at church.
These niggas games are going about violence.
They had these things. They had this segment in Kingdom Hall for the people. There's like Jehovah's Witness culture, where it's called necesidades locales, local needs, and they would like create these articles based on the communities that they were in, and they would talk to you about shit that's going on. And when MySpace came out, they was all over it. When Mi Gente came out, they was all over it. When GTA came out, they was all over that shit. They had search parties of Jehovah's Witnesses going through kids' fucking shit to see if they had this game stashed away, because this was, at the time, one of the most bloodiest things you could possibly play. And this was like aerial top overview. It
was particularly violent, man, considering. But I loved it. It was a fun game. And I'll never forget, man, and this is why Funko Land went out of business. I remember wanting to buy it and having the money to get it used, and the guy wouldn't sell it to us. And we had to go back and get my mom to sell it. And he tried to get it's a mature rated game, it's not designed for kids to play. It's supposed to play by adults. He's like, I know they're kids, and they're not stupid enough to think that shooting guns and stealing cars is real.
Bro, I gotta just pay homage for a second, because as a brand, as a Grand Theft Auto brand, this is the list of platforms that this brand has appeared on:
PlayStation,
Android, Dreamcast, Fire OS, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, iOS, Mac OS, Microsoft Windows, MS-DOS, Nintendo DS, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation Portable, Windows Phone, Xbox, Xbox 360, and Xbox One.
So essentially everything but Nintendo Switch and Wii.
And the 64.
And 64 Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't make very many violent games. So, for the most part, every system
when I first played this, it was on PlayStation 1.
I didn't, the only one I played, what's the great thing? I played Grand Theft Auto 1. Didn't ever play Grand Theft Auto 2. And then, we're talking about the evolution. Make the jump to Grand Theft Auto 3. That's when Grand Theft Auto really became the pop culture phenomenon. Because there were only still like a subset of people who played Grand Theft Auto at that point. A lot of us knew about it, knew of it, but not very many.
It was a subculture at that point. Yeah. It wasn't pop culture.
Yeah. It became pop culture when Grand Theft Auto 3 came out, and it became, the 3D world on PlayStation 2, Liberty City, the way it was portrayed. and that story mode, the voice acting, and it became a game that was almost like a movie. And that's the way they treated this, with the big soundtrack, with the cinematics that go along with it, the inside jokes. And that was when Grand Theft Auto became the pop culture phenomenon.
But at the same time, like I'm on Wikipedia right now, Grand Theft Auto 1 was so controversial that it was condemned in Britain, Germany, and France due to extreme violence. So people were expecting this evolution, and what 3 did was 3 gave you your own. You ever seen Westworld?
No.
Westworld is a show where you basically have this entire world with robots that are like humans. They bleed like humans. They'll fuck you like humans. They'll talk to you like humans. But your whole job there is to just do whatever you want. So people all day long would be in school thinking, yo, I'm going to try to go pick up that hooker. I'm going to try to fly the plane in the airport. Remember the Dumbo plane that they was trying to fly on?
The Dodo.
The Dodo plane. What's that, Dumbo plane?
Yeah, but you know why they clipped the wings after 9/11? That was supposed to be a real flyable plane. And after 9/11, they clipped it. It was actually supposed to be buildings that represented the towers that they took out. Because of, obviously, sensitivity after what happened. You know, they knew people would try to, which everyone did. Even with the clipped wings, kept trying to fly that shit into buildings. But,
with the response that 3 got, I remember everybody was going fucking nuts when 3 came out. Everybody was going.
There was a lot of people, and even still, then a lot of people didn't know what Grand Theft Auto was. Even
and
then.
This was before like real online multiplayer. This was like
that shit didn't have. They didn't have multiplayer until 4. They put multiplayer on, so it was strictly a single player endeavor. Not even I'm lying. San Andreas, if you knew how to play it, there were certain places you could go on co-op, like fucking like co-op fucking runs, just destroying everything, but not very
co-op
many.
Online or co-op just controllers.
2 controllers on the system,
and
but there were only a few places you could go on those runs.
That was for what, San Andreas? You said
San Andreas, yes.
To follow up 3, I think they did it perfect with Vice City. To me, Vice City, I want to almost say that it was better than 3.
To me, Vice City was better than 3.
The only reason I love 3 so much was because it was like, it was what WrestleMania 2000 was to No Mercy. It laid down the foundation. That was a foundation game that showed the developers what they were able to do.
But even then, man, they were still testing, man, with Vice City, because they went so much bigger and further with San Andreas. And then you didn't have to worry about loading times.
On San Andreas?
Yeah, loading the map. Like, remember when you would transition to other areas on 3 and Vice City, you had to wait for it to load.
Yeah.
For about, load the other area. That got eliminated with
so it's an entire free world from the beginning.
Well, until you unlock those areas, you can't go over the bridges and shit. Well, you can go over the bridges, but you'll get attacked by the cops. Once you go over, your 1 level shoots up, and because those areas aren't supposed to be accessible yet to you. So
that's how they played it. You just get 5 stars,
4, whatever your max level was, immediately after you. But that set the stage. But just Grand Theft Auto on its own, man. The evolution of Grand Theft Auto is just wild. I haven't played, like I said, all of them minus 2. And I never played Liberty City Stories or Vice City Stories or Chinatown Wars, which was Game Boy. I never had a Game Boy. And Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories were both PSP, and I never had a PSP. So I never played those, but playing every other Grand Theft Auto, just everything they did, everything they've done, the chances they take, what they try, even the fact that all the DLC on 5 came out. When did 5 came out? Like 2012. 5 came out. I want to say 2012 or 2011. 5 came out.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
GTA 5 release 2013.
13.
September 17th, 2013.
So 6 years.
God damn.
And they're still...
Time is flying.
They still update it. They still, they're online. But they generate so much revenue because people, It's like freemium. You know, you can play it and work your way up, you know, grinding it out. But nobody wants to do that. They want the instant gratification, so people pay money for in-game currency. And that, I think, has helped their model because they released all their DLC. They released all their DLC for 5 free. Everything, the cars, everything, the updates, all that shit was free. And it was all online mode stuff. So, you already were paying for your Xbox Live service. And, you know, all that shit came free. And if you wanted to buy anything, you could. But they give you everything. All the download shit free. And that shit is fucking... It's insane.
They're coming out with 6. Supposedly, it's rumored for 2020.
I look in the last few years as a gamer at Rockstar's model. It's tough for me to think they're making 6 when Red Dead Redemption 2 just came out last year.
But from what I just saw, it would be a PS5 release.
And that too, I don't think they would jump straight to PS5 on it. So
you think all of this is speculation?
I think it's all speculation. Rockstar is very good at allowing speculation to run rampant, run wild, and never addressing it. And I think why it's not going to be a PS5 first, I think if it does come out, it'll be on, or if it does go to PS5, it's going to be much later in the life of PS5 and the new Xbox that comes out, which I will be competing with Xbox. I think it's called the Xbox Scarlet right now. It's the code name. I think that because how you look at it with how 5 went, they said they used 4 after everything they learned on 3. They used you look at it, the progression of 3, Vice City and San Andreas being the end of everything on that one engine, and learning how you could max that engine out with the technology you have, and then moving to 4, and then learning everything you can, and then they did even more and learned more with what you could max out on that engine with the DLC they dropped on it. And they said they used that to learn for 5. And they essentially, like, the DLC on 4 essentially was the 3-character model of 5. Only you were playing 3 different stories instead of 3 different story modes converging on one. 3 different stories converging at once. They were all 3 separate stories that just happened to go along the same world. And they did 4. I mean, they did 5. When they did 5, they did it like that. But it came out on a 360 and a PS3 when everyone already knew the PS4 and the one were coming out. They're like, why wouldn't you wait? They knew what they were doing. They gave us that, made their sales, and they immediately went to brushing it up and cleaning it up for better resolutions and everything. And they started working on first-person mode, something that you never thought you'd play Grand Theft Auto in.
Yo, this is the perfect segue into what I want to talk about, because this is a goal for me. This is something that I want to do. I don't give a fuck how we need to make this shit happen, but we need to make this shit happen. I want to play GTA first person with an Oculus Rift.
I don't have an Oculus Rift, so I don't know how to make that happen.
We got to go to a virtual reality place and get this shit set up. Because I don't just want the Oculus Rift. I want the dome shit that you stand in the middle of, and whenever you run, you stay in place.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're definitely going to have to go find that setup. But that's what they did. And that's why I don't believe they're going to jump to 6 straight on the new system. It'll come later in the life of the new system. But I don't see them jumping to GTA 6 right away. And I know everyone wants it because we just played 5 so long ago.
But we've seen what happens when game developers cave into what people want.
Rockstar doesn't do that. Rockstar is known for delaying their games. It's almost like, if Rockstar says they're dropping a game, release dates March. Like let's say they said like Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out March 2020. I would say Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out maybe Christmas 2021. And they would announce they delayed it, they pushed it. And you know why?
To string people along, to build anticipation.
But they don't release fucked games from the jump. Their games are polished and they work on it. Rockstar, they know what they have. I've
never heard of a glitched GTA. Even though this was like one of the most modded games I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
the skins that people have implemented onto these things, we know people that was doing that shit.
Yeah, like I've seen it. Like, but it's still, they don't release broken games. Rockstar doesn't do that. Rockstar knows their fan base, and I mean, they're part of Take-Two Interactive, which is part of 2K. That's a whole other story, but we spoke about that previously.
So, to close out, what would you like to see that you haven't seen in a Grand Theft Auto?
I honestly don't know, man. Maybe, I don't know. I think whatever they're developing is going to be something we didn't see coming. I don't know what we haven't seen in Grand Theft. I would say maybe they've given you all sorts of customizations. You can own planes, houses. I would say maybe more interiors. Being able to go into the interiors of more buildings. I couldn't say until you see it.
I would like them to work with actual retailers, even if they just do something with Amazon and just include all these retail stores within the game, that when you go and buy something in the game, you get it shipped to your real house. I think that's next level shit.
That's next level shit, and that seems a bit crazy. That's some Black Mirror type shit.
No, that's like Ready Player One.
I've never seen it.
You never seen Ready Player One?
Nope.
You gotta watch it, bro.
Somebody told me that. I feel like my girl. I don't know, but
it's everything in one. It's every game, every movie. The whole thing is just. The shit is like Entourage for video games.
I don't know, but I did that seems extensive, and like it could lead to some.
I don't think so, bro.
That could lead to some Black Mirror-esque shit. I feel
like if you're gonna build a multiplayer world where people can go interact, fight, kill, whatever, then at least let the person that's controlling the character reap some sort of benefit off of just the interactions. Make the stores real. You can have a Levi's store if they want to go in there. You see,
and then what's gonna happen? People are never gonna leave their houses because that virtual world is gonna become a substitution for the real world.
And that's exactly what happened in Ready Player One, bro.
And see, that's why we can have these disagreements. That's just fucking stupid to me.
Shit.
Like, that's just fucking dumb. Like, you want that? You want to turn the world into a virtual reality world where you never have to leave the house?
I think it already is.
For some people, it is. The fucked up shit, for a lot of people, it already is. And that's not a great thing for society. Or for society to be moving in.
Yeah. But with GTA 6 hopefully coming out next year, then hopefully we'll have another GTA update. That'll be the next time we talk about that shit. But you guys already know what
I said we'll see GTA in 2021, like I said.
2021. Follow us at B&RS.
And you already know why to follow us, baby. We do the fucking yerp.
Thank you for tuning in to the B&RS Show.